If you don't like it as a woman, turn around and tell them to shut up. Stand up for yourself. Act like a strong woman.
Mansplaining describes a phenomenon where people act as if they have more knowledge than somebody else, who are usually female, that actually know more about the topic. This phenomenon is even supported by scientific research. In 2014, a social norm study in University of Washington reports that in a conversation, a male interrupts the female an average of 2.1 times, while they interrupt other male 1.8 times. The tendency of male to dominate the conversation whenever they know what they are talking about or not make female more vulnerable to question of credibility in any field. It is also a form of violation of women's right to speak and an indirect denial of women's participation in cultural and political affairs. As Rebecca Solnit writes in her book, every woman knows what I'm talking about. It is an assumption that sometimes makes it difficult for women in any field. It keeps women from speaking up and not being heard when they dare. It silences young women, as does harassment on the street, showing that it is not their world. It trains us in self-limitation, just as it exercises men's unsupported overconfidence. Significantly, mansplaining is reflected in various national and social structures. In August 2020, a Chinese blog post became popular among Chinese internet users. The author said she had never realized that there's a single-serve menstrual product for low-income women in Chinese countryside. This article brought the topic of period profit in front of the public eye. While most feminists hope government reduce the tax on menstrual products, some male internet users were mansplaining to the public. A few of them claim that menstrual products are expensive because female consumers are mindlessly chasing after large brands. These female consumers are responsible to pay extra fee for believing in big companies. Some users advise women to just use cloth if they cannot afford the product. And there even are users interrogate women. They said, why not hold your period like hold your urine? Behind the controversy of period profit are both ignorance and ignorance of mansplaining. These ridiculous actions are insidious manifestation of misogyny. The definition of misogyny not only related with violence against women, it includes prejudice and bias. Actions like bropirating is also a representation of misogyny. This word is combining with brother and pirate, which means so focusing on male's perspective that ignored female's idea. In early 2020, a number of Chinese medical workers were volunteered in saving patients of Wuhan, which is a city had most COVID patients at that time. According to Chinese mainstream media reports in early April, 2/3 of 42,600 medical workers are female. But people didn't expect to see just 2 female workers among the 30 medical workers who honored and interviewed by majority media. At the end of the year, China Central Television published its first TV series about the pandemic. It claims that this show is based on the true story of people in frontline, which causes controversy because there are no positive female characters in the show. The entire show focuses on the contribution of male volunteers and medical workers. The female characters were portrayed as selfish antagonistes who would hurt others over emotional issues. To today, there are still some internet users believing in this show. They insist that female medical workers did not help with the outbreak in China. Most misogynists claim that their actions are not against women. However, They often continue believing in and speaking in things full of bias and ignorance.